The handle turned once. Then stopped. Silence settled over the hidden room. Marcus looked at Eleanor. Neither moved. Outside, Victor Wren waited. Calmly. Patiently. As though he knew they had nowhere else to go. "Eleanor," he said again through the door. "If I wanted those files destroyed, they would already be gone." The statement irritated her because it sounded true. Marcus stepped closer. "How do we know it's actually him?" Victor answered before Eleanor could. "Because Marcus already checked the security feed." Marcus froze. Eleanor looked at him. Slowly, Marcus reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. The security camera outside the corridor was still active. Victor stood alone. No guards. No staff. No backup. Just Victor. Waiting. Marcus exhaled. Then unlocked the door. Victor entered. His eyes immediately moved to the files spread across the desk. For a moment, something passed across his face. Relief. Not surprise. Not fear. Relief. "You found it," he said quietly. "The original archive," Eleanor replied. Victor nodded. "Arthur called it the insurance policy." Eleanor folded her arms. "You knew this room existed?" "Yes." "You never mentioned it?" "No." "Why?" Victor looked around at the shelves. "Because the wrong people were looking for it." The answer only created more questions. "Who are the wrong people?" Victor didn't respond immediately. Instead, he picked up Eleanor's file. The one marked "Correction status, incomplete." He stared at it for several seconds. Then returned it to the desk. "They started with records," he said softly. "Who?" "The people who inherited the project." Again that word. Inherited. Not created. Not founded. Inherited. Meaning the people currently operating the system weren't the original architects. They were successors. Caretakers. Maybe something worse. Eleanor stepped closer. "You keep talking around the truth." Victor met her gaze. "Because the truth sounds ridiculous. Try me." For the first time since she had known him, Victor Wren looked genuinely uncertain. Then he spoke. "The people controlling the corrections don't know they're controlling them." The room went silent. Marcus frowned. "What does that even mean?" Victor turned toward him. "It means nobody took over the system." "What?" "The system took over itself." An hour later, they sat around a small desk in the hidden archive. Victor explained everything he knew. 23 years earlier, the Historical Corrections Project had begun with a simple purpose. Researchers compared conflicting sources. Archivists identified inaccuracies. Historians debated evidence. Normal academic work. Nothing sinister. Then came the second phase. Standardization. The participating institutions wanted consistency. If one archive listed a date incorrectly, it would be corrected. If a biography contained an error, it would be updated. If two sources disagreed, one version would eventually become official. At first, the process improved accuracy. Then the network expanded. Libraries joined. Universities joined. Publishers joined. Genealogy databases joined. Historical foundations joined. Thousands of organizations slowly connected their records. A correction made in one place spread everywhere else. And because every institution trusted the others, nobody questioned the changes. The network became self-validating. A closed loop. A machine that reinforced its own conclusions. "That's impossible," Marcus said. Victor shook his head. "No. It's common." He pointed toward the shelves. Most people assume history survives because it's true. A pause. It survives because enough systems agree it's true. Eleanor hated how much sense that made. Because she had seen it herself. Every investigation eventually led to the same sources. The same databases. The same authorities. If those authorities changed something, the change multiplied. Like an infection. So where does Arthur fit into this? Eleanor asked. Victor's expression darkened. Arthur found the first pattern. The phrase immediately caught her attention. The first pattern. Not the first correction. The first pattern. What pattern? Victor opened one of the old files. Inside were records dating back 40 years. Dozens of corrections. Different people. Different places. Different institutions. At first glance, the changes appeared random. Then Eleanor noticed it. Every correction benefited someone. Not always financially. Not always politically. But always strategically. One historian received credit for another's work. One family gained inheritance rights. One company strengthened ownership claims. One researcher became the accepted authority. Every correction produced a winner. And usually a loser. Marcus stared at the documents. These aren't mistakes. No, Victor said. They never were. The discovery led Eleanor to a disturbing realization. Someone designed this. Victor nodded. Eventually. The original project may have been honest. But someone recognized its potential. Someone understood that controlling historical records meant controlling modern outcomes. Property. Careers. Reputations. Legacies. Everything. The corrections were not preserving truth. They were redistributing influence. The room felt smaller. More dangerous. Because now the mystery had shape. Intent. Purpose. But one question remained. Who saw the opportunity first? Victor looked toward Marcus. Unexpectedly. A long silence followed. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. What? Victor didn't answer. Instead, he opened another file. This one older than the others. The cover contained a name. Marcus froze. His face drained of color. Eleanor looked at the file. Then back at him. Marcus? He didn't answer. Victor pushed the file across the table. Slowly. Deliberately. The name on the cover read. Elias Hale. Marcus stared at it. As though seeing a ghost. Who is that? Eleanor asked. She already suspected the answer. Marcus swallowed. My grandfather. Silence. Heavy silence. Victor nodded. Elias Hale designed the synchronization framework. Eleanor looked between them. What framework? The system that allowed corrections to spread. The words landed like a physical blow. Marcus sat down. Slowly. As though his legs suddenly felt weak. No. Victor's voice remained calm. He didn't create the project. No. He didn't invent the corrections. No. But he built the architecture that connected everything. Marcus looked away. His hands trembled. Eleanor had never seen him like this. Marcus. He laughed softly. A humorless sound. There were stories. What stories? My grandfather worked with historical databases before anyone else. His voice sounded distant. Like he was remembering something buried. He always said information behaves like water. Victor nodded. He said once a pathway exists, information will follow it. Marcus closed his eyes. He used to repeat that. Eleanor felt the pieces shifting. Aligning. Creating a larger picture. What aren't you telling me? Marcus hesitated. Then opened the file. Inside were handwritten notes. Research papers. Design sketches. And one notebook. Old. Worn. Used heavily. The first page contained a title. Correction Protocol. The room fell silent. Eleanor stared. There it was. The phrase. The name hidden behind everything. Not Historical Corrections Project. Not Correction Review Committee. The Correction Protocol. The true system. The true design. Marcus turned another page. Then another. His expression changed with every line. Fear. Disbelief. Recognition. Finally he stopped. What is it? Eleanor asked. Marcus looked up. His voice was barely audible. My grandfather knew this would happen. The sentence seemed to drain the air from the room. Victor didn't look surprised. Which meant he already knew. Marcus continued reading. The protocol wasn't designed to preserve truth. He swallowed. It was designed to decide which truth survives. Nobody spoke. Because nobody needed to. The distinction changed everything. Preserving truth was passive. Deciding which truth survives was power. Pure power. Marcus turned to the final page. A handwritten note covered most of it. A warning. Written decades earlier. Elias Hale's final entry. Marcus read it aloud. The danger is not that someone will control the system. His voice shook. The danger is that eventually nobody will. Silence. Then Eleanor noticed something. A second note. Added recently. Different handwriting. Not Elias Hale. Not Arthur Finch. Someone else. Only 6 words. Written in dark blue ink. Arthur found the catalog first. Eleanor felt a chill crawl down her spine. She looked at Victor. What catalog? Victor's face hardened. The expression of a man who had hoped never to answer that question. Slowly, he said. The master catalog. And for the first time since the investigation began. Victor Wren looked afraid. For several seconds, nobody spoke. The words lingered in the air. The master catalog. Eleanor had spent weeks uncovering hidden records, missing references, altered histories, and erased identities. Yet somehow this sounded different. More important. As if every road they had followed led toward a single destination. Victor Wren sat heavily in a chair. For the first time since this began, he looked his age. Not the confident director who commanded one of the world's most respected historical institutions. Not the careful administrator who always seemed in control. Just a tired man carrying secrets for too long. Eleanor broke the silence. What is it? Victor looked at her. The thing Arthur spent 20 years searching for. That's not an answer. No. His voice was quiet. It's the only answer I have. Marcus opened his grandfather's notebook again. The pages were filled with diagrams. Network structures. Institutional relationships. Information flows. At first glance, they resembled technical planning documents. Then Eleanor noticed something unusual. The diagrams did not connect computers. They connected authority. Libraries. Universities. Publishers. Historical societies. Archives. Genealogical organizations. Government registries. Every institution responsible for preserving public memory. Marcus pointed at a page. This wasn't designed as a database. What was it? A hierarchy. He traced the lines. Information moved upward. Then another set. Corrections moved downward. Eleanor stared. The structure resembled a nervous system. Countless smaller branches feeding information toward a central point. A central authority. A place where competing versions of history were evaluated. Compared. Accepted. Or rejected. The catalog, she whispered. Marcus nodded. The master catalog. Victor leaned forward. When the historical corrections project began, every institution kept its own records. He paused. That created problems. Conflicting sources? Eleanor asked. Exactly. One archive listed a birth date. Another listed a different one. One newspaper identified an author. Another credited someone else. One university preserved one version of an event. Another preserved a different version. Researchers constantly argued. Corrections were slow. Messy. Inconsistent. The solution seemed obvious. Create a central reference. A trusted source. A place where disputes could be resolved. The idea sounded reasonable. Even noble. Eleanor hated how reasonable it sounded. Because history is complicated. Conflicting records create confusion. People naturally seek certainty. The master catalog promised certainty. And people accepted it. Victor stood and walked toward a shelf. He removed a thick binder. The pages inside contained internal memoranda from decades earlier. Meeting notes. Project proposals. Policy drafts. Evidence of the protocol's evolution. One document immediately caught Eleanor's attention. A memorandum written 18 years ago. The title. Authority through consistency. Her stomach tightened. She read. The proposal argued that public trust increased when institutions presented a unified historical narrative. Conflicting records reduced confidence. Confusion weakened authority. Consistency created stability. The language was professional. Reasonable. Even persuasive. Yet the implication was chilling. Truth was becoming secondary. The appearance of certainty mattered more. Eleanor closed the binder. Who approved this? Victor hesitated. Then answered. Almost everyone. The room became silent. Because that was the first truly terrifying thing she had heard. Not corruption. Consensus. Not a villain. Agreement. Thousands of intelligent people making small decisions that collectively created something dangerous. Marcus continued reading his grandfather's notebook. The deeper he went, the more unsettled he became. Look at this. He turned the notebook toward them. One page contained a prediction. Written nearly 30 years earlier. Elias Hale had outlined potential long-term consequences. The list was disturbingly accurate. Historical authority becoming centralized. Increasing dependence on accepted sources. Difficulty challenging established narratives. Identity disputes tied to archival records. Inheritance conflicts. Academic monopolies. Everything they had already encountered. The final prediction was circled 3 times. Self-reinforcing correction cycles. What does that mean? Eleanor asked. Marcus looked grim. It means corrections begin generating more corrections. Victor nodded slowly. That's exactly what happened. A correction altered a record. The altered record became evidence. The evidence justified future corrections. Those corrections generated new evidence. The cycle repeated. Year after year. Decade after decade. Eventually nobody remembered the original version. Only the accepted one. Eleanor suddenly understood something. Arthur. Victor looked at her. He wasn't looking for a person. No. He was looking for the source. Victor nodded. The master catalog. The realization changed everything. Arthur had not spent years chasing individual corrections. He had been tracing them backward. Following the chain. Searching for the place where decisions became reality. And according to the note they found, he had succeeded. Arthur found the catalog first. The question was obvious. What happened after he found it? Victor's expression darkened. I don't know. You expect us to believe that? I wish I didn't. The answer felt genuine. Which somehow made it worse. As evening approached, Marcus discovered something hidden inside the notebook. Several pages had been glued together. Carefully. Intentionally. It took nearly 20 minutes to separate them without causing damage. When they finally succeeded, a folded document slipped free. Old paper. Typed text. Handwritten annotations. The heading read: Correction Protocol, Restricted Distribution. The room went silent. This wasn't a proposal. This wasn't a theory. This was the protocol itself. The operational rules. The document contained 12 directives. Most were technical. Verification standards. Cross-institutional review procedures. Authority rankings. Source weighting. Then Eleanor reached Directive 7. Her blood ran cold. When conflicts cannot be resolved, preference shall be given to the version producing maximum institutional consistency. She read it twice. Then a third time. The words sounded harmless. Until their meaning became clear. Not the most accurate version. Not the most documented version. The most consistent version. The version easiest to maintain. The version least disruptive. History chosen for convenience. Not truth. A sudden realization struck Eleanor. She opened one of the Bellamy files. Then another. Then another. The pattern emerged immediately. Every correction followed the same logic. Not necessarily the true version. The stable version. The manageable version. The version institutions could collectively support. Thomas Bellamy became a banker because the records were cleaner. Daniel Whitmore lost authorship because another attribution created fewer conflicts. Arthur Finch disappeared because his existence complicated the accepted narrative. The corrections were not random. They were optimization. Human lives reduced to administrative efficiency. Eleanor felt sick. Because the system wasn't malicious. It was indifferent. And indifference was harder to fight. The discovery led them to one final document. A list of review authorities. The people responsible for overseeing the protocol. Names had been removed. Most entries were redacted. Only one remained visible. The final surviving signature. The last person known to have officially reviewed the protocol. Eleanor stared at it. Victor saw her expression. What is it? She slowly turned the page toward him. The signature belonged to someone all three of them recognized. Not Arthur Finch. Not Elias Hale. Not Victor Wren. The name was Clara Whitmore. The same Clara Whitmore from the photograph. The same Clara Whitmore connected to Daniel Whitmore. The same Clara Whitmore who vanished from the records. Marcus frowned. She disappeared 20 years ago. Victor nodded. Officially. Eleanor looked up sharply. What does that mean? Victor hesitated. Then spoke. Officially, Clara Whitmore died in a car accident. A pause. Unofficially, nobody ever found a body. The room fell silent. Eleanor stared at the signature. Fresh questions flooded her mind. Why had Clara disappeared? What had she discovered? Why was she the final reviewer? And most importantly, if Clara never died, where had she gone? Then Marcus noticed something written beneath the signature. A handwritten note. Tiny. Almost invisible. Added years later. 6 words. The catalog is not the source. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Because if the master catalog wasn't the source, then the true origin of the corrections was still hidden. Somewhere beyond it. And Arthur Finch had already found it.